Hello guys, this is Kenzo of Nov Customs. So right now, I asked people if you wanted to know something about guitars or whatever. Then it always happens that everybody wants to talk about tone wood and electronics. In my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion. I think everybody should understand first that let's go on one part first, then the other part. On wood, I'll give you an example, an actual example. Here is my ever so trusty fretting hammer. And I'll show you two pieces of wood because some people say that all wood sounds the same on an electric guitar. Maybe. But I'll let you guys decide. Okay. This is a body wood for base I'm making. So you can see it's not even cleaned up yet, but there's figure. I want you to hear how it sounds. Okay. Then I have a piece of maple, a Canadian maple. So on those two pieces of wood, you can actually hear if they're different or not. Now we're just talking about the wood itself. We're not going to the electronics yet. The thing is, this will go to a point that, oh, so if I buy expensive piece of maple and cheap maple, they're the same. No, they're not. Because there's a certain type of grading in wood that is only suitable for instruments. And these are usually for the custom guitars or the high-end ones. The other ones, they're usually for, the mass-produced ones. That's why when you go try a maple neck of this said brand and the higher model of that brand with the maple neck, they feel different, even the shape, the sound is different, everything's different because of that grading system that guitar builders or guitar manufacturers have. Now back to the topic because I digressed. On electronics, there's also good electronics, there's also bad electronics. The purpose of good electronics is to transfer whatever you have on your guitar to be more clear going to the amp or going to your recording or wherever. But the thing is, the debate is, or whatever the versus whatever is, that it's either tone wood will make a good guitar, or good electronics. Here's the thing. In this whatever I'm going to say next is, I think other builders have said this before. Okay? Because I've tried this in my guitars, the guitars I have built and I have repaired, that for a good example, if you put a bad singer with the highest tech of microphones or whatever, she'll still sound terrible. Okay? If you put a good singer with entry level thing, you can still hear her or him with a good voice. So the point of that discussion is they're telling people that, oh, you don't need this kind of guitar or wood, because if you just invest more on the electronics, it will be better. Or don't invest on the electronics too much, just invest on a better guitar with all of this wood. Maybe, but for me, and maybe for some of you that watch my channel, they go hand in hand. They're never gonna be separate from each other. If you want a good sounding guitar, it was well constructed, it had good materials, and has good electronics. Okay? It's I think it will never happen that high-end guitar, cheap electronics, or cheap guitar, high-end electronics, because the difference is, I think, is more noticeably known by the owner and not the listener. Because if you don't have a good guitar with materials, your attack is lower. It's not constructed well. Sustain and attack is lower. If the pickups are bad, sustain and attack is, doesn't translate well. So all of these factors build up a guitar. It doesn't. It cannot be that, oh, this, oh, that. Like for example, you have this guitar and you invest a lot on that stuff. Maybe it can work, but the difference is, a good sounding guitar needs a good sounding pickup, so you can hear the whole potential of the whole guitar come out. It will never happen that you have a good guitar and you have a pickup that is muffly sounding, that will translate to your expensive amp or your recording studio. It has to be together. Again, it's vice versa. If you have a bad guitar, you put like a 20,000 pickup set on that, maybe it sounds good, maybe, but the entrail of the sound, like sustain and sustain, attack, it comes from the materials. The translation of that also comes from the good electronics. So they have to be together. They're not separate entities like a lot of people are telling me, or what I read in the groups or forums. Because honestly, I experience this every day in my shop, from repairs to guitar building. Like, if I make a guitar, okay, I make, not repair, I make a guitar with a maple neck and a blah 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 body, and I make another blah 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 neck and another blah 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 body, which are totally different from each other, with the same design, the same pickups, they sound this down different. If I put in this same guitar, different pickups, the different windings, different outputs, different etc., it sounds different as well. So for me, it's not actually a debate. It's more of you're trying to find what materials and what sort of electronics that you need both to mix together, that will make your perfect guitar. I think that's more of the idea. Okay, so I would like uh, I would like you guys to see that. Okay, but here I forgot one thing. There's actually some pickups that will really change the sound of your guitar, and these are active pickups on guitars, because they have their own tone stack. They have their own preamps inside and all of that. But here's the thing. If you put an EMG set or a Fluent set on a not so good guitar, there won't be a lot of the overtones and the sustain and the whatever other call these details of that pickup that you heard, that was installed in a much higher end guitar, or a guitar that has better materials, will be the same to that, because that's already been proven. Like for example, I have one. This, it's a good guitar. It's a Schecter KM7. Okay, so it's already a good guitar on its own, but we put in EMGs, brushed in chrome 7 strings. I think it's 66 and 57s. So the stock pickups were really good. It had actually a bare knuckle on the bridge, but on this ones it sounded much more bigger. But the noticeable difference was the output, because it's active. The thing is, I can still hear the details, what on, like if you just turn it off. When you should try this on your guitars. You try your guitar, you play it off, like it's not on, the amp is not on yet. Try to listen to that, then try to open up if it sounds similar. Because if it sounds similar, it means you have, a good mix already of the electronics and the, call this, the wood materials. So if you do that, you can have your tone matching thing to happen already. But it really depends on your genre. But for that debate, for me, in my opinion, tone wood versus electronics, or which is much more a priority, I really don't believe it. It has to be both. Like, they have to go in together to become a great sounding guitar. Well, that's just my opinion. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed and somehow you learned something. If you have more questions, just put it on the comments below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.